All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another departmental deep dive on Facebook Live. We really appreciate everyone's time. I know everyone is very busy. So like I said, we all very much appreciate you dedicating some of your time to spending it with us tonight. Tonight, we're going to be concentrating on our data science program, which is super interesting, and it's definitely a hot topic in today's society, in today's economy. So there's a lot of great topics that we're going to get into tonight. Just so everyone knows, this event will be recorded. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. You can type them into the Facebook conversation. I'll be sure to pose them to the group. The event itself should take around 30 or 40 minutes. We're going to start off with a quick presentation, and then we're going to open it up to a Q&A panel with some of our current students. But before we go any further, let's just do some quick introductions. Again, my name is Tom. I work in the admissions office, and I'll be hosting the event tonight. Dr. Calhoun?
Hi, I'm Bill Calhoun. I'm a professor in the Department of Mathematical and Digital Sciences, and I am the coordinator of the data science program.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Calhoun. Dr. Shannon?
Hi, everyone. I'm Shannon Msiniso. I'm a professor in the Math and Digital Sciences Department.
Great. Kadir?
Hi, my name is Kadir. I am a student at Bloomsburg University, majoring in data science and digital forensics.
Great, thank you. Stephen?
Hey guys, I'm Steven. I'm a junior at Bloomsburg, and I'm currently double majoring in computer science, digital forensics, and then I have a minor in data science and mathematics.
That is a mouthful. You're a busy man, huh? Juliet?
Hi, I'm Juliet. I'm a senior at Bloom, and I'm a double major in physics and mathematics with a data science concentration.
Once again, you are a very busy person. That's great. Well, we appreciate you both being able to fit us into your schedule. So we're going to go ahead and jump into just a quick overview of the program here. Let me share my screen. And Dr. Shannon, go ahead.
Okay, welcome everyone again. So I'm going to go ahead and just give you a brief description of data science. Sean, will you please help me go to the next slide? Okay, so well, to start off, a lot of data is being generated daily because of the recent advancements in technology. For example, when you logged into the Facebook series, to this Facebook series, your logging in information was actually recorded in the cloud. And then we are always using our smartphones. All those apps are tracking our daily usage. So the question now is, how do we utilize all this data? This is where the field of data science comes in. It involves a number of techniques. It involves visualization. We have statistical methods. We have data manipulation, and then also an application area. You may be wondering then, why are we using all these techniques? Well, that's because in data science, we actually want to extract meaning and hidden truth from data. That way we can make more sense out of it and also learn from this data. Can we move on to the next slide? Well, as you saw in the previous slide, there were so many areas being covered. This means that in data science, we actually use techniques from math and statistics. We have techniques from computer science. And then we also have the subject area, which is the application area for our data. Now, we are also going to touch on applications of machine learning, which is an area of data science which combines techniques from math, statistics, and computer science. Okay, so some of you may be wondering, so many different fields being involved in data science. Maybe you don't excel in all of them, but I will just reassure you that you don't have to worry, because the data science team is actually made up of experts from different areas. So if you go on to the next slide, we'll have an idea. You will see in data science, we have people who focus on analysis. We have the problem solvers, we have the programmers, and then we also have people who are experts in the application area where we are getting these data sets from. Okay, so this means that there's pretty much room for everyone. Okay, so you don't need to excel in all the fields. So that's one thing I like about data science. And I know we are in the middle of the pandemic. You see some people are actually working remotely here. So this means that if you are looking for a flexible job too, there's that flexibility which comes with your job if you decide to be a data scientist. Okay, so for the next part then, I'll just touch on a few applications for machine learning. Machine learning is actually an area in data science, which is the latest approach to digital transformation. Just to give you a few examples here, for our first application example, we have the driverless car, which uses sensors and cameras to detect activities in the surroundings of the car, and then also then use machine learning algorithms to make decisions on the car's movement. This is actually a driverless car, which was being tested in our very own Michigan, in Ann Arbor, not very far from here. So that's just to show you that these kind of applications are real. This is stuff that is already being used in our society. Now, for other examples, there's so many other examples. Just one example, machine learning algorithms are actually used in healthcare. For example, they are used by our Geisinger research team, not very far from here. They use them to actually make to provide clinical insights and pretty much just improve patient care. So this means that we have these algorithms helping out, even in the healthcare, to make your visit to the doctor more convenient and also as fast as it can be. We have so many other applications. I'll just mention a few, not all of them. If you go into Netflix, you will see that there are suggestions on movies and TV series you could watch. All these suggestions are actually being given to you. It's like Netflix uses machine learning algorithms to narrow down your options based on your watch history. Okay, you take an Uber or you use your Google Maps to find a certain location. Well, these apps are going to use machine learning algorithms to get to find you more like the fastest route, which is also convenient, of course, so you can avoid roadblocks and stuff like that. Let's see what another one I know our title was Hey Siri. We have voice recognition apps. You have Alexa, Siri, and Google Assistant, which use machine learning algorithms to figure out your question, and then it kind of narrows down the information to give you the best possible answer to your question. So there's so many applications. The list is endless. Okay.
It seems like it's literally woven into the fabric of every aspect of our life at this point, which probably means that there's going to be good job growth in the coming years, I would imagine.
Oh, yes, definitely. If you decide to have a career in this field, I would say you don't have to worry about future prospects, about jobs, because there are plenty of jobs in this area. In fact, if you go to the next slide, it was forecasted back in a report in 2011 that we will need hundreds of thousands of jobs in the data science field. There's still a lot of jobs. Pretty much if you just Google a data science job opening, there's so many openings which pop up. So this means that if you decide to go into this field, then you don't have to worry about a job in the future. There's actually a lot of money. Okay, we cannot ignore that part.
Let me see if I can summarize this. Bloomsburg has this degree in data science. People with this degree are in high demand. There's always going to be jobs in this field. And by the way, you're going to make a lot of money. That's not really an algorithm. That seems like it's more addition, like this plus this plus this equals. That's a really good thing. But I just want to make sure, in case that hasn't been abundantly clear, this is a good field to be in if you want to make a lot of money and have a job.
Definitely, Tom put it perfectly. That's pretty much what we have. And in this graphs, I should just mention that you are seeing median salaries, like the amount, the group of people who were surveyed, that's the middle amount. So this means that, I mean, we haven't even started looking at the maximum possible salary you could get. So yeah, that's plenty of money that should help you pay off your student loans very quickly and also live a decent life. So yeah, so that's data science, an awesome field. I'm going to ask my colleague, Dr. Calhoun, to talk more about our program at this point.
Okay, thanks, Shannon. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how we came to have a data science program here. We actually had a recruiter from Geisinger Health Systems come to us and say, we're really looking for people who know math, statistics, and computer science. And you have a great program in math and statistics, you have a great program in computer science. But if you put them together, that's data science. And so, I went to some data science conferences. We learned more about data science. We hired Shannon, who's studied data science in graduate school. We've also got other statisticians who know data science. And so it's a really good fit for our department because we're a department that has already an excellent math and statistics and computer science program. We also have a great digital forensics program, which is not as involved with data science, although actually I have a student talking to me tomorrow about a project he's doing combining digital forensics and data science. So even those can go together. It has some cool things you can do. You've got machine learning, you've got data visualization where you make really interesting graphics to understand things. And as Shannon has already mentioned, it can be used in so many different ways. Medicine, public health, we're seeing right now all the data that's being used to track the pandemic and figure out what's happening with that. Climate science, if you're concerned about the environment, data scientists help to model climate change. Law enforcement. Now, the TV show Numbers was fiction, but some of the things that they did, they don't usually happen as quickly as they happen in a TV show. Like I remember watching that show and they'd say, oh, well, we need a program to track where the person has been that we're investigating, and 2 seconds later they have this beautiful program. Well,
whoa. You're saying that what I saw on television is in fact not accurate. I have a hard time believing that, if I'm being honest.
saying that can happen. It just takes, it might take a few hours instead of 5 seconds, Sports is using all kinds of data science. So I remember seeing the movie Moneyball about the Oakland A's and how they used data to get ahead, get a leg up on the other teams. Now all the teams are using data science. I went to a math conference recently, and one of the key speakers was the data scientist from the Philadelphia Phillies. Of course, the NFL uses data science. The NBA uses data science. Tennis uses data science. They're always talking about what does IBM Watson say about the tennis shots that they've been taking. So it's used in all kinds of sports. If I left out your favorite sport, I'm sure data science is being used in that sport as well. And of course, the main one really is business. Shannon mentioned several businesses, Amazon, Netflix, do those recommendations of, this is the movie you'd like to watch next. And usually they're pretty, they're pretty accurate. Okay, let's go to the next slide and I'll tell you a little bit about our program. This is actually from a slide I made for a conference, a math conference, talking about our program. And a lot of people came up to me and said, oh, that sounds like a really great program. So we're getting national validation that we've got a good program in data science. If you look up at the middle section, it tells what our courses are. We have 5 courses in data science. Introduction to data science, which kind of gives you an overview. Data visualization, which tells you how to make really cool graphics to express what's going on with data. Databases for big data, because as Shannon mentioned, there's huge amounts of data that are being generated, and we can't always store things on one machine. It has to be stored in a cloud. Machine learning, which is this great technique where you can actually train a machine to recognize speech or drive a car or whatever application you want the machine to learn. And then advanced data science is the capstone course where you do a project, like a semester-long project in data science. And then down below in the middle column there, we've got math and statistics courses that you take along with your data science courses, some computer science courses you take along with that, some electives. And you notice on these slides, these are some of the projects that students have done just in the intro to data science course. So the first one there in the middle is a student who studied his own Fitbit data to see what was going on, how many steps was he taking, was he losing weight when he was taking more steps, things like that. The top one on the right is we have some doctors from Geisinger that take our data science course every semester. And this was a doctor who worked in the emergency room, and he was tracking how much use the emergency room gets at different times of the day. We learned from that if you're going to have an emergency, it's better to go in about 2 a.m. because they're not so busy at that time. If you go in the middle of the day, you may have to wait a little longer. And then at the bottom, we had a student that worked with the university foundation who recruits donors to contribute money to Bloomsburg University. And that cool graphic there is showing how likely someone is to contribute to the university based on age and income. I guess it's kind of expected that as the age goes up and the income goes up, you're more likely to contribute. But anyway, he did a lot more with the data, but that's an example of a cool graphic that he produced. Okay, can we go to the next slide? I just wanted to mention we also have a minor in data science. So if you're coming to Bloomsburg and you want to major in something else, it really could be anything else because data science kind of goes with everything. You could choose to do our minor along with your major. Okay, that's all I had to say.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And to be 100% honest with you, I didn't fully have a real, strong grasp of data science until you said Moneyball. It's like when you said Moneyball, it's like, all right, that kind of crystallized what exactly this was. For anyone who's seen the movie, the gentleman, the character in the movie, his name is Peter Brands, played by what is his name? It's not Brad Pitt, it's the other one. Anyways, he's a data scientist.
Well, remember when that was Jonah Hill in that? I think
Jonah Hill, yes. Yes, Jonah Hill.
One of them came up with on-base percentage was more important than the hitting percentage, and
yes,
they could get players at a discount because the other teams didn't realize that. And,
yeah,
it was amazing.
That kind of hit home once you said Moneyball. It's like, all right, I got it now. That just start with Moneyball. It's like, all right, I understand that. All right, great. Thank you so much. So now we're going to open it up to the panel. And I know I have some great questions to ask, but if anyone in the audience has questions that you want to ask the students or Dr. Shannon or Dr. Calhoun, please feel free to type them into the Facebook chat. So my first question is kind of a two-parter, and we can start with Juliet. Why Bloomsburg? Why data science?
I chose Bloomsburg because it's like about 2 hours from my hometown, so I wanted to stay close. It's also affordable. And then why data science? I started as actually a biochemistry major, but as I took more math classes, I realized I really like numbers. Mm-hmm. So data science was perfect for me because it's all numbers, and it has like good job growth and everything. So that's why I chose data science.
So what were some of the things that you were interested in high school? Like what were you doing in high school? So just for our prospective audiences, if they're thinking, well, maybe this is the right field for me, like what's a profile of a student who's likely to be interested in data science when they get to Bloomsburg?
I was always into science in high school. Yeah. I wasn't as much into math, but I got more into math in college. So even if you don't think you're good at math now, like, I don't know. I had the thing where like my high school wasn't that good at math. So like the teacher I had, so like it gave me a bad like idea of it. But once I got to college, like I had really good teachers for my math classes, and I like actually am really good at math now. So. And
that's a good answer for, as we have two of your professors on screen right now. That was definitely the right answer. Well done. Great. Thanks, Juliet. Kadir. You're muted, buddy.
Why Bloomsburg University? Because just like Juliet said, it's really close to Philadelphia. I'm from Philadelphia. It's just like 2 hours from Philly, 2 hours from New York. It's affordable. And I really like the campus feeling here. It's really like a big, huge campus. Not like the colleges, most of the colleges in Philadelphia. If you go to like a Drexel, they don't even have a campus at all. Yeah.
Sure. And why data science?
Why data science? Because I am interested in artificial intelligence and machine learning since I was a kid. Like,
okay.
Yeah. Like I read, I forgot that Russian writer's name, author's name. He has a iRobot. I don't know what it is called. It was like artificial intelligence. And since I read that when I was a kid, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fascinating. And then I became more and more interested in.
Well, there's an iRobot movie.
I don't think it was I think it was a book, but I can't remember the book's name. I know that it's a Russian author.
Okay. Yeah, there was a movie with Will Smith called iRobot that also deals with I guess more or less kind of like the darker side of data science, right? Because
I wonder if it's
the robots start to attack humans.
The book I Robot was by Isaac Asimov. I don't know if
Isaac. Okay, Isaac Asimov. Yep, that's the movie based on the book. Yep.
Yes.
I haven't watched the movie. I just read the book.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was like really fascinating for me.
Interesting, Kadir. So you're interested, again, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure the robots start to attack the humans. So that's what got you into data science. Interesting. I'll have to remember that.
I like robots.
You like robots. Okay. Yeah, that's a better way to say it.
Artificial intelligence.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm watching this show on HBO right now. It is actually based on like data science too. Like the robots are rebelling against humans. Like it's called Raised by Wolves. I'm not sure if you ever heard that. Yeah, that's a great show too if you're interested in data science.
Okay. Yeah. I hope you'll protect us then if that ever happens. Great,
I hope.
Stephen.
Yeah, so my reason for coming to Bloomsburg is a little different. I guess that's kind of interesting because the program wasn't started. We didn't have the data science program when I first came to Bloomsburg. So I was most interested in the data science, or not the data science, the digital forensics program in Bloomsburg. And so through my coursework, I got to know Dr. Calhoun, and he was starting up the data science major and minor. So I'm interested in computers. I'm interested in numbers. I enjoy math. And Dr. Calhoun made a really good pitch to me, and he definitely got me on board for the data science. So pretty much, I think doing the data science at Bloomsburg is really awesome because no matter what you come in for, you can always switch over to it. And it's really, like you said, it's related to so many things that it was really easy for me to just pick up, and I'm enjoying it.
Excellent. So my next question is both for faculty and for students. Students, favorite class that you've had so far, and for the faculty, the favorite class you've had to teach. And we can start with Juliet.
I think my favorite class was Intro to Data Science, but I really enjoy machine learning, so I think I'll like that class a lot.
Okay. All right. Nice. Thank you. Kadir.
I like data visualization a lot with Dr. Channon. I think it was great. I really enjoyed it. And I think that I will also enjoy machine learning. Like I haven't taken that yet, but I'm pretty sure I will enjoy that too, since I'm really interested in artificial intelligence.
Outstanding. Great. Thanks. Stephen.
And so far through what I've done with the curriculum, Intro to Data Science was my favorite class just because of the project we got to do in that class was really great. I got to work with a couple doctors at Geisinger Hospital, which is right across the street from Bloomsburg. And it was really interesting to combine two different fields. I come from a tech side, and obviously they come from a health side. So we kind of didn't know about either's expertise. And I really liked that class because it just gave me experience into working with other people and, you know, learning something new.
So that's the second time that someone's mentioned Intro to Data Science. So, and you had also talked about the project that you had done with some of the doctors at Geisinger. What was the nature of the project?
So the way my project worked, we took real data sets from Geisinger, and we were just trying to analyze some different trends. So without going too into it, I can give you an overview really quickly. We just took a data set about hand washing compliance from the doctors and the rate of a type of infection called C. diff infection in a hospital. So I was able to work with that data and create a bunch of visualizations to show how these two variables are related, and so the doctors could use this information in the hospital to kind of see whether their efforts, whether they need to wash their hands more or if everything is fine. So having these data sets and working with the doctors was really interesting, and it just kind of combined two different worlds, and the project was really fun to work on.
And that wasn't even an internship. That was coursework. So
yeah, exactly. That was the other great part too.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do anything extra. It was just part of my grade.
Right. Awesome. Dr. Calhoun, favorite class to teach?
Well, I do enjoy teaching Intro to Data Science, partly because of these great projects that the students do. It's really fun at the end of the year to see what they've done. And we do have Geisinger doctors taking the course every semester. And so we usually have some of the students get to work with them, and that tends to produce some interesting projects. But some of the students choose to do something else, and they do interesting projects as well.
What are some of the projects that they've done? Can you give us a few examples?
Well, the Geisinger ones that come to mind right away, there's the one Stephen talked about. Juliet did one with some Geisinger doctors as well that I think she'll probably talk about, that had to do with the pandemic. So that was pretty interesting. We were all interested in that topic. I've had ones on economics. I've had ones that had to do with, as I mentioned before, fitness. Gee, I wish I had a list of all of them, but there've been a lot of interesting ones.
Well, that's a good sign that there's too many to list. But I would imagine that most of these are projects though that end up on people's resumes as well. So this isn't just some kind of academic exercise. There's a lot of professionalism built into the projects as well. So that way there's a nice resume builder at the end of this.
Absolutely. It's always good to have something you can talk about when you're applying for a job that you did something hands-on, and here are the results that you got, and that's I really see that as a plus for the students.
Sure. Great, thank you, Dr. Shannon. And let me guess, Intro to Data Science.
Well, I would say that would be one of the courses I would be interested in. I haven't taught it yet. I'm pretty much, I enjoy courses which have to do with problem solving and analyzing data. And one of the best courses I've taught so far is data visualization. So in data visualization, we started off with data. Maybe just think about it as data in an Excel spreadsheet. And then my students, actually, Steve, Kadea, and Juliet were in my class. They were able to start off with just numbers, just the data set. And then they would come up with research questions they want to ask about the data. Maybe they want to figure out, how a certain factor or a variable affects, let's say, how does it affect freshmen? Or any other example we could pick. So once they come up with their research questions, after we studied quite a number of graphs, they were able to answer these questions just using graphs, just using visualizations. That way it's much more easier for someone who is looking at the graph to make sense of the data, other than just looking at a spreadsheet, So yeah, so that was a fun class to teach, and it was really awesome just to watch my students grow, into at the end. Towards the end, they really felt like professionals, because they knew, the kind of graphs they want to create, and they knew what's important, what are some of the things that are important that you should include in your graph and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed that, and great group of students, which made the class really great.
Well, Dr. Shane, I, as an end user who has a pretty tenuous grasp of the subject here, I appreciate you teaching your students how to translate this to people who don't have as strong of a knowledge of the subject here. So that's much appreciated. I may also have to borrow one of them to help me with my fantasy football team. I'm getting crushed out there every week, so I could use the help. Great, thanks. So this is a question more for the students. What are your career goals? What's the end game here? We can start with Juliet.
Well, next year, I'm going to be in a master's program in data science.
Okay, where?
I don't know yet. I applied to like
Okay,
8 or 9 different schools.
Sure.
So I'll see where I get in. But
okay. And Juliet, you've done an internship already, correct?
yeah, I've done multiple. I've done internships at the State Department, NASA. I did
NASA.
yeah, I just got an internship at NASA actually next semester.
Okay. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And then I have an internship at Geisinger right now. And then last summer I did a summer camp at a like computational summer camp at Princeton University. So.
I like how you very nonchalantly threw Princeton and NASA in there as if that's just a normal. I guess maybe that's more normal. I did not have those opportunities when I was going through school. So good for you, Juliet. That's great to hear. Kadir.
I am planning to work in the cyber security part of the data science, like threat protection from viruses and whatever. I would like to work for like a virus software company for early detection of the malware. Like you can use data science for those kind of environments a lot. Like I got like internships offers from Apple and Microsoft. I was actually going to do my Microsoft internship, but then coronavirus got in the way. I was going to go to Malvern, Pennsylvania, office department of like the Northeast department of Microsoft. But
oh my gosh, jeez. Wow, well, you guys are pretty accomplished for considering the fact that you're still in college here. Okay, good for you. That's awesome, Kadir. Good. Stephen.
Yeah, my career goals don't necessarily align with data science at the moment. I think it's definitely possible that what I'm learning in data science will be helpful for my job. I'm going to be working more in the cybersecurity industry. But I want to say that I think working and so far taking the classes I have in the data science curriculum has been very influential towards getting the opportunities I've had, just being able to think outside the box and learn different, work with different people in different fields. And I think that without doing data science, I wouldn't have the opportunities I have in my other endeavors.
Yeah. Well, I hope all three of you remember us small guys like myself as you guys are CEOs or COOs or CIOs, and any of the other acronyms there. You're all pretty impressive here. So that's good to hear. So this is more for Stephen and Juliet. So I know you're double majors and you're minoring. I guess, why did you choose to double major and minor, and how are you balancing the I guess the academic expectations with having multiple academic programs? Juliet.
I actually got involved. I was just a physics major, and I got involved in astrophysics research on NASA data. So, and it was basically like data science research, but I didn't know how to code, and I didn't know like how to, like everything was taking really long and it just wasn't efficient. So I took a Python class, and then I saw there was the data science program, and I was like, oh, like this would be very helpful in astrophysics research. So that's like how I got into the double major. And then as far as like balancing it, I mean, I was done most of my physics classes when I switched over, but it's definitely a lot to balance, but it's doable. So.
Yeah. And then you've also had like 9 or 10 different internships. I lost count at some point. So when are you doing those? Are those ones that you're doing remotely? Are those ones you do during the summer, during the spring, during the winter break? How does that work?
Well, all of them have been different, but
Mhm.
since COVID, a lot of them are remote, and I've had a lot more opportunities to have the internships because usually they're like, oh, you're gonna have to go to like California for this one, or like, but they're all online. So
Sure.
like the State Department internship, I do 10 hours a week during the
Mhm.
school year, and it's like pretty chill. If I tell them I have too much work, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not too bad.
Awesome. Great.
Mhm.
Thanks, Juliet. Stephen.
Yeah, I'd say it's kind of a funny story how I got myself into this mess. I don't know how. I think in high school I was just really interested. I took some computer science courses there, so that's kind of
Mhm.
when I started. I knew I was like, oh well, a default is computer science because I enjoy it. And I go to college. I'm like, well, I guess I could do this. Digital forensics, that sounds fun. And then data science comes, and I mean, I just love learning, so it was pretty easy for me to just kind of keep running them up and adding them onto my schedule. Dealing with the course load, it's nice because at least the majors and minors I've chosen are all pretty related.
Mhm.
So it's definitely, you have to know how to manage your time, and
Yeah.
you have to be willing to commit the time to, making sure you're getting good grades because, like my academic advisor won't let me continue to do this if I start failing out on classes.
Mhm.
So it takes up a lot of time, but I think if you're interested in
Mhm.
different fields, well, there's no better time to try and learn as much as you can in
Sure.
college, because you'll never get another opportunity. And
Right.
if you choose in fields like data science and computer science, the classes are so related that you know when I get better at coding in computer science, it translates to my data science projects and vice
Mhm.
versa. So I like seeing that overlap, and
Mhm.
that's kind of what got me into it. I enjoy learning.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, getting good grades is important. I would underscore that. Yeah. For anyone listening, get good grades. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would recommend that.
and this is a question more for Dr. Calhoun and Dr. Shannon. How does our data science program compare to some of the other data science programs in the area or on the Eastern Seaboard?
Well, we were actually asked to participate in a discussion of accreditation for data science programs because, as the person said in the email to us, you're one of the first programs to have a full bachelor's degree in data science. So I'm not saying there aren't others around,
Sure.
but a lot of the other programs are, there are master's programs, there are certificate programs, but we actually have a master's degree where you can major in data science. So I think that's a big advantage. And I think, we've got a well-designed program. We got confirmation of that when we talked to people from other schools.
Dr. Shannon?
I would say so far in my experience, like even when I was in grad school, actually the data science program at PhD level was introduced just when I was in the middle of my studies.
Mhm.
So only a few schools so far have a bachelor's degree
Mhm.
in data science. So like Dr. Calhoun said, that's just one of the main advantages
Mhm.
of coming to Bloomsburg. You
Mhm.
are going to have a full degree in data science instead of just having a certificate or an associate's degree. It gives you an advantage in the case where you want to go big. I mean, we heard about the internships our students are doing. This means that they're aiming high. Even after graduation, they want to get these big jobs. So to me, I feel like it's a good idea to go ahead and get your bachelor's degree now and get it out of the way.
Mhm.
Then you start your career and continue climbing
Mhm.
the corporate ladder.
Mhm. Yeah, and it certainly sounds like those loans might be paid back pretty quickly. I saw some of the salaries you had up on there. I don't know that you could have showed the maximum salary on the graph. I think you would have had to move it out a little bit. Yeah, so that's good to know. And Dr. Shannon, another question I had for you. You had kind of mentioned how this career translates to the future economy. And gives you some degree of flexibility with work. What does a data science job look like moving forward during the pandemic, post-pandemic?
I would say even now during the pandemic, you have the option of saying, you know what, I could take a job in Washington right now, or take a job in California, and that's a full-time job. You have conference calls for any meetings, so it comes with that flexibility of working online. Whether we're having the pandemic, we may never know. Post-pandemic, some people will be more comfortable, will say, hey, I'm more comfortable working online. No need for me to be in the office, in the building. So I actually suspect a lot of companies are going to continue with this online working trend. So this means that, that's a great opportunity for, especially for people who decide to pursue, their career in this particular field, because that means you can pretty much get a job anywhere in the country without moving. If you want to be close to family, you can still stay here in Pennsylvania while, working across the states. Yeah. So that's the awesome part. I would say working remotely, that's something which has, the capability of staying even post-pandemic. So that's why it's more like a big deal, right? It's a big deal that data science offers you that opportunity.
Sure. I have two more final questions. Second to final question is, what makes a good data science student? What are some of the interests that they are likely to have? What are some of the skills that they are likely to have? Essentially, what goes into the recipe of a good data science student? Kadir.
I don't know what I'm thinking, like what makes I think a person has to be like really interested in coding. I like,
Sure.
yeah, coding is really important. I think that you should know how to code. Like it can be fun. I would start early in the high school if I'm planning to like go to like learn data science and become data scientist. I would start in high school.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Great.
then that will help a lot when you go to college, because I didn't code in high school and I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on when I started college? It was like I didn't know any coding, so it can be a little bit struggle, but it's really fun.
Sure.
If you're into like coding, you should go for data science.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Kadir. Juliet.
I think you should definitely be interested in math and coding. I mean, you could have any other interest outside of that, because basically any field hires data scientists, like sports, business, stuff like that, like we said before. So as long as you are willing to learn the math and computer science skills, you can apply it to whatever other skills you have in another field.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that's a good point. And so what's the level of math generally that you're going to go into in a data science career? We're talking like calculus, advanced statistics, like what's the core type of math that you're going to be doing?
You take calculus 1 and 2.
Okay.
Discrete math, which is just like a lower level math class. You take a lot of statistics classes, so you definitely have to be interested in statistics, but you'd assume that because you're analyzing like numbers and stuff in data science.
Sure.
And then programming, you basically just learn like Python and R. So.
Okay, great, thanks. Stephen.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add. I think Julie did a great job. I think if you're interested in computers, if you're interested in math, and if you're just interested in data in general, if you like,
Sure.
Your friends are talking about something, if you're going on Google and looking up statistics or sporting events, anything like that, I think all of those things I'm interested in it.
Well, after seeing Dr. Shannon's slides, it sounds like you have to have an interest in money. You have to have an interest in being gainfully employed. So if you hit those two things off, yeah, this might be the right field. Dr. Calhoun.
Sorry, it took me a minute to unmute myself there.
That's okay.
But I do agree that math and computer science computer programming skills are what we're, statistics and computer programming skills are really what you learn in the program. I don't know that you need to have that. I think, for instance, Juliet said she came to the university without really programming background, but then she took Python and then she got interested in it. So, while I agree with Kadir that it certainly wouldn't hurt to start programming and I guess everybody's doing math in high school, but it wouldn't hurt to start early. But we don't assume that you know how to code when you come into the program. We will teach you how to code. And, not only do we have you take Python classes, but also when I teach intro to data science, I don't necessarily assume that people already know how to do Python. Some of them do, some don't, but we have a sort of crash course in Python at the start of the course. So we can bring you up to speed. And again, I think Stephen made a good point that anybody who's interested in any kind of data, I mean, if maybe you're interested in, history or something, but you want to take the data from, historical events and somehow analyze it. That's something you can do with data science.
Maybe predict the future.
Yeah, maybe take the data, use some machine learning and take the data that we know from the past and use that to predict the future. That would be a good, if one of you students wants to do that for your project, that would be a great project.
Yeah, that might be helpful. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great,
Can I
thanks,
also
Dr.
just say, I really like what Dr. Calhoun said too. You definitely don't have to know anything. Like, it's really nice to come in with these things, but
Yeah.
In both the intro to data science and data visualization classes, I had Dr. Shannon and Dr. Calhoun, and both of them really did a great job of explaining where to start. And they taught you everything you need to know. So just know that really you just need an interest, and that's it.
Yes, as long as you have the interest and you're willing to put the time in and do the work. Yeah, it seems like Dr. Shannon and Dr. Calhoun are willing to meet you, take you the rest of the way. Yeah. Dr. Shannon.
Yeah, I would pretty much agree with everything everyone has said. I would say the interest, and one thing which our students have not mentioned, which pretty much I personally think that's what helped them learn a lot in these data science classes, is that they were willing to learn something new. Because here's the deal. If we say biology, we say, I've heard about math, where I've been counting since, elementary school. So it's like we are so used to these fields, which, we've been talking about pretty much since elementary school, or maybe for some of us, we remember, maybe I started being serious in middle school. But I would say data science, it also requires, on top of the interest, just be willing to learn something brand new. Like we said, this is a new field. So that's pretty much, I feel like that's what helped my students to be successful in the classes they've been taking. I mean, even Kadia, Steve, and Juliet, we just had the data visualization class. At the beginning, we actually used R, and they had never really studied R. But one important thing was they were willing to learn how to use this new tool. That's something that's very important. And I was very proud of them just for taking that step and saying, hey, I'm willing to try something new.
Yeah.
And just that attitude, it helps you to be successful in that field. So just adding on to what everyone has said.
Yeah, that's a good point though. Being coachable is important in this instance, and being willing to learn. Yeah. Great. So this is my final question. This one's a little lighter. Does anyone have a favorite pop culture reference to data science? Like I know for me personally, Moneyball I think is pretty cool, or I'm a fan of the Marvel movies. So I think there was something in, I think it was Captain America, the Winter Soldier. There was something about algorithms, predicting human interaction or something to that. And then there was the one with where the robot comes alive. So Kadir, you might like that one. So I would say those are mine. Does anyone else have anything to add to that?
I like that Captain America Winter Soldier one. That I like. That's you mentioned it, and that's really cool. I mean, kind of dark.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. The good guys win though, so that's good.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So it's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Juliet, do you have something?
Uh, yeah, I mean, just like a coding reference, in Criminal Minds, I can't remember her name, but the girl with the blonde hair, she like investigates like
Yes.
where people are like really fast and stuff to solve like murders. So that's really cool.
Yes, my wife loves that show. So I've never seen it, but I know who you're talking about. There's a I feel like NCIS might have a similar character. Not Gibbs, the other guy. Anyways, yeah, okay, I got you. Great, yeah, that's cool. Anybody else?
I would say I really enjoyed the show Numbers because in addition to them showing all the formulas, they would show data flying all over the place. They would have visualization of the
Sure.
points. So like, okay, if we
Mhm.
have so many suspects in this area, or maybe you're having criminals in this
Right.
area, maybe you end up having clusters.
Mhm.
They just went on and on and on. They were
Mhm.
using statistics, math, and even though they were terming it as statistics and math, it's pretty much data science. I mean, they're showing target areas when they're looking for criminals. They
Mhm.
show you clusters of criminals and stuff like this suspected areas and stuff like that. But it was just nice seeing all those visualizations. Like for a change, you are seeing the data flying all over the place and the formulas. I was like, oh, that is so awesome.
Now, is that what you're doing in your classes? Is that pretty true to form there? Is that what data sciencing, is that what it looks like?
Well, we don't make it look more fictional like in like in the TV show, but
Right.
yeah, part of it, we were trying, we're able to
Sure.
visualize. Well, because I mean, in math, in computer science, in all these fields, I feel like it's very important to visualize,
Sure.
whatever you are trying to achieve. Say, this is my end goal. So the visualization part, yes, definitely, you need to have a picture of your final product. So yeah, all the cool stuff is like, okay, some of the things will be popping through your mind. We won't really be drawing them on the board, but yes.
All right, great. Thank you. Dr. Calhoun, do you have one?
Well, one movie I liked a lot was The Social Network, which was about the invention of Facebook. Now it kind of points out that there's good and bad, right? And we talk about this in the program. I mean, like any other technology, data science can be used in good ways and sometimes not so good ways. So we talk about this, and hopefully all of our students will be going off and using data science to do good things for humanity rather than just figuring out how to make me click on a ad on Facebook.
But fear not, Kadir has already confirmed that he's here to protect us. So I appreciate that. Kadir, did you have one to add?
The Imitation Game is a really good movie too. I'm not sure if you guys watched it.
I've heard of it. It's about World War II, right? About breaking codes.
About the father of modern computer science. His name is Alan Turing. It's his biography. It's like a real life story, and it's a really good movie. If you want to,
I've heard that's very good.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I would recommend that movie too.
All right, great. Well, everybody, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Everyone in the audience, everyone on the panel today. Again, this will be recorded, and we'll certainly repost this as soon as it's available. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If you want to find out more information about the program, we'll put that in the chat. And hope everyone has a wonderful night. See you, everybody.